One funny thing about trading psychology is that the person that is teaching you about trading psychology can be going through the same thing that he's teaching you. Just like saying, I'm teaching you how to become rich,
Yeah.
and yet I'm trying to become rich. So how do I know that that path that I'm leading you to is going to work? Whatever your tutors or your mentors are teaching you, they're only giving you a path or a guideline on how to tailor your own personal psychology to fit the kind of trader that you are and
Yes.
give the kind of results that you want to get. Or if there's a different psychological approach you give to someone who is an aggressive trader,
Yeah,
there is
yeah,
a
that makes
different
sense.
psychology for a conservative trader.
Trader, yeah.
Okay? There is also a different psychology for someone who is coming from a wealthy background. There is a separate psychology for
That's
someone who is
true.
coming from a separated background.
Hi guys, welcome back to today's episode of Value Flow Traders Corner. Today I have with me CJ Banks, Odogumale.
Hi guys.
So good to have you here, CJ. So, all over the internet, there are opinions littered around concerning trading psychology. Things your mentors tell you about trading psychologies that we may say are false. So, we'll be shedding so many lights on them on today's episode. So, CJ, what are some of the lies you stumbled upon on the social media space concerning these lies that Forex mentors tell their followers?
First of all, trading psychology, you need to understand that trading psychology is quite personal
Yeah.
and not a general topic to be treated. And it's not like it is a problem, a particular problem that you are saying, okay, this is the psychology for it. Just like when we have drugs,
Okay.
for malaria, you know that you use drugs like atameta and the rest of them. So there's like a specific drug for malaria, just that it now differs to the level of malaria. All right. So since we are not talking about medicine, back to trading. When we say when we say forex psychology, when we're teaching forex psychology, people need to understand both students and tutors alike, or
Yeah.
students and mentors.
Yeah.
You need to understand that psychology is quite personal. One funny thing about trading psychology is that the person that is teaching you about trading psychology can be going through the same thing that he's teaching you. Just like saying, I'm teaching you how to become rich,
Yeah.
and yet I'm trying to become rich. So how do I know that that path that I'm leading you to is going to work? So that's what I mean when I say the same problem that I could be going through a psychological problem in terms of forex, and I'll be teaching you how to overcome that same problem. So that's one funny thing that happens in the forex industry.
Yeah.
One challenge that I'm going through, I could be teaching it as a course. So students need to be guided, traders need to be guided that the tutors or the person who is the mentors themselves, they do not have a wholesome knowledge of forex psychology.
They don't have it figured out. They don't
No,
have
no,
everything
there's
figured
nobody
out.
that I
Yeah.
would say has everything figured out in terms of forex psychology. Whatever your tutors or your mentors are teaching you, they're only giving you a path or a guideline on how to tailor your own personal psychology to fit the kind of trader that you are
Yes.
and give the kind of results that you want to get. Now, another thing that we need to also know is that for forex traders, when we're talking about psychology, there is a different psychology that you give, or there's a different psychological approach you give to someone who is an aggressive trader.
Yeah.
There is
Yeah.
a
That
different
makes sense.
psychology for a conservative trader.
Trader, yeah.
Okay, there is also a different psychology for someone who is coming from a wealthy background. There is a separate psychology for someone who is
true.
coming from a separated background. Okay, so we need to know that this kind of people, they are all different. All right, so you don't use the same psychological approach for every of them. Now, someone who is afraid of losing $100, which is half of it is borrowed from Pampe, The other half is borrowed from
Oh my God.
what's the name of this firm that used to borrow people money?
Lapo.
Lapo. So you borrow $50 from Lapo, you borrow $50 from Pampe, and you're using it to trade. Your psychological approach is going to be very different from someone who is using maybe $1,000 to trade, and that $1,000 to trade is like this pocket money for a week. It's like the spending allowance for a week, or the amount the person spends in a week. So even if he blows it up, he's making it the next week. So the psychology of that person is going to totally different. Now, when you tell that person who is trading $1,000 that he can afford to lose, you're telling him to trade and apply maybe risk to reward of 1:5. The person can wait.
Of course.
You're telling him to use stop loss of 20 pips, which will maybe result to around $200 or $300. The person can wait and allow those things play out. But someone who borrowed money,
oh my God,
or someone who is in debt, or someone who is using his last card to trade,
they don't know.
You can't apply the same psychology. The pressure, the emotional pressure is different. So when you're teaching people about Forex psychology, you should be aware that these people are different from one another. So you should not just carry one particular scheme of work and teach everybody. Just know that they are different. So whatever you're teaching them as Forex psychology should just be a background study, or not background study now. It should just be a foundation or a guideline. Okay, if it's going to be a textbook, it should just be modules and titles. You know, when there is a table of contents, there is chapter 1, this and this. Then you now go in depth and start discussing chapter 1.1 or chapter 1:1, stuff like that. Okay. When you're teaching Forex psychology, you should just try as much as you can. That's if you're a teacher or you're a mentor or a trainer or instructor. Try and tailor it for different kind of people, different personas. Okay, people are different, so try and know the kind of people that are listening to you. To understudy your students, know the kind of people that are listening to you, and then know how to teach them. And then you can also give them the overall view. And also, very importantly, you should let them know that these things that you are telling them is based on their own kind of person. It's based on their own approach. It's based on their background. It's different from another person. So you should also let them know that they shouldn't go and copy someone else's psychology, because the person is doing it and is making money from it. So you use that same psychology. You should be aware that theirs is going to differ from yours.
Wow, that was amazing.
This one you're saying, wow, it's like people will drop off in this value for trade, you know.
How much do you want?
At this point, I wish to say we're going to say that off camera.
All right, thank you so much for that. That was really profound. Secondly, I know that a lot of people have this school of thought that if you're using a particular strategy and you're on a losing streak, you should stick to it and not deviate from it. Because I have seen someone who stuck to a particular strategy, and I'm sorry.
I know why you're laughing. I know why she's laughing. She wants to use me as an example in the video that we are shooting. So guys, just pardon her. I know why she's laughing. So Cynthia, we're listening to you.
So I know, as I was saying, this person kept losing, and
talk to me direct. Don't go through the corners. Talk to me.
I'm trying to be friendly.
Okay.
And at some point, the person just had to switch. What do you have to say to people who stick to a strategy but they keep losing, and there's a voice in their head, or not in their head per se, but there's someone there telling them to stick to it, that one day you go better. This thing, you're going to break through it, and you start making a lot of money from this particular strategy.
Okay, so since I'm the one that she's talking about, now this is it. During that period, what I was trying to do was to find out how this and that particular strategy works, because you can't use a particular strategy for a month and conclude that it doesn't work. Okay, there are seasonalities in the market. Okay,
Yeah.
there is what we call there are different seasons in the market. There's the January syndrome or the January season in the market. There is structural shift that happens around August when banks go on mid-year break. There are different. There are so many things that happens in the market: bond options expiry, end of
Yeah.
year seasonal tendencies. So there are so many things that happen in the market. So if your particular strategy is working around December and in March it stops working, you won't conclude that it stops working, it's no longer working or it's not effective.
Yeah.
Okay, so you can check it and see that every December this particular strategy works out. Okay, so the particular strategy you are talking about, I was testing it for a particular period of time and it was working. After a while, I didn't knew that this particular strategy has a period where it doesn't apply to.
Oh.
I wouldn't have found that if I stopped to it as at that period or I left when it stopped working. Okay, so I followed that strategy all through and I found out that it has a 30% win ratio,
Okay.
30 to 70, right? It has a
Yeah.
30% win ratio. Now, for you to become profitable with it, you need to work on your risk to reward very carefully, and then you need to pay attention to the seasonal tendencies. So that was what I found out with the strategy. Now, shocking to you, I've not dumped it, but
Oh.
I've understood it better. Now,
Okay.
another thing I found out with that strategy was that it works in line with a different strategy which I'm also working on now. There's a strategy that you have to align with it that will make it work better. All right. Now, all these things are quite psychological. I knew what I was going for.
Yeah.
All right. I was trying to learn how to make it work. In fact, I wanted to even teach it. Okay. But if I go and teach it and then people find out that it's no longer working, they'll come back and bash me and say, this is not working. You told us things that are not working.
Yeah.
Right. Now, because I've been through that furnace of affliction, now I know how to teach it. I know how to explain it to people. All right. So when you are trading a particular strategy and it's not working in a particular time, you need to go back and check. Was there a period when it worked?
Mm-hmm.
There are strategies that work when the market is ranging.
Of course.
In a higher time frame, not a lower time frame. Talking of monthly and weekly. There are strategies that work when the market is trending in a higher time frame. There are some strategies that work when there is inflation in inflationary seasons.
Yeah.
Right? There are some other strategies that work in deflation seasons. Okay, so some of them have will I say they have a link with economic events and economic data releases. All right. So if you are trading a particular strategy and you found out that it's no longer working, check if there was a time that it worked and look for indices that made it work, or look for hints or information that made it work as at that period in time. Now, if you found out that it's no longer working, you can wait for that same cycle or that same season to come up again.
Yeah.
Before you go back to that strategy. So, and then on the other side, there are some strategies that totally do not work for you based on your personality. For me, I'm more relaxed when I'm swinging, when I'm taking swing position. Feel more relaxed. So I have strategies that work around that. So whenever I switch or whenever I move to the account that I use for swinging, you won't hear so much stories. Less trades, more positions, and then more positions, lesser number of trades. You understand?
Yeah, I do.
It's like I'm mixing it up. But what I mean is that I have a swinging position or I have a swinging strategy that works for me. But anytime I'm testing a day trading strategy, I tend to go back and forth, and it's not. I don't really have enough patience to wait for it to work out because now I've understood my personality. I'm very busy. I'm always busy doing many things at a time.
Yeah.
Okay, so I found out that a swinging strategy is going to work for me. So anytime I see any strategy, no matter the kind of mentor that person is, no matter the kind of instructor, no matter how wonderful the person is, if it's a day's trading strategy, I will not be so interested in it because I've understood my psychology. This is one of the things that Forex mentors will not tell you, or Forex instructors will not tell you.
Yeah, that's
Okay?
true.
They just teach you their strategy because it's making money, and then they are forgetting to let you know that the kind of individual you are will determine if this kind of strategy is going to work
Work for you.
for you. Okay, so for instance, someone who is a very busy business person, a scalping strategy will not be the best for you. You have to leave whatever you're doing because scalping requires a whole lot of concentration. So that kind of thing is not going to work for you. So you need to now know psychologically, I cannot be present here and
And
here.
there, yes.
So I need to give my full attention to one thing or
Or
the other. So if you now know the kind of person you are, you now know the kind of strategy
That works for
that
you.
works for you, and then you're going to use it. So if you found out that this strategy is not working for you because of the kind of person you are, you can now ditch that strategy for another that would work for you. The whole goal of this thing is profitability. We're just here to make money
Of course.
any which way. Okay? So if you find a way that makes money for you and gives you peace of mind, then go for it.
Yeah. Thank you so much, CJ. That was amazing. That was so profound. So, how did you deal with the emotions? We'll talk about that later. Okay. How did you deal with the emotions that came with losing streaks? Because I were in your shoes. Oh my God, you don't want to know.
Now, losing streaks. For losing streaks, there's there are a few things that you should know. One is that you should have alternative means of income. That is one of the things that will keep you in a losing streak. Because if trading is the only thing that gives you money, and money is not coming for like 2 months or for like 1 whole month,
yeah,
you end up being in debt.
Of course.
Okay? So you can have alternative streams of income or alternative stream of income. It must not be streams.
Doesn't have to be
It doesn't have to be streams. As a trader, you can have a part-time job that helps to cater for your day-to-day need. You can have a business that brings steady income. You can choose one of the two, or you can choose even the two. You can have alternative investments in stocks and shares in multinational companies and even local companies. Okay, information on that. Maybe we can do another video on that later on. Okay, you can have all these things aside so that when you're having losing streak, your psychology is a little balanced. It's going to be triggered in some way, but there's a little balance knowing that your next daily bread, you are aware of where it's coming from.
Sorted already.
Your budget for the next month, you are aware of where you can get it from. So that way you're not running mad. You're not running, you're not becoming fully depressed. You may be partially depressed. You will not be fully depressed or clinically depressed because of losing streak. Okay, so first thing is to have another source of income other than trading. That's going to help you in terms of losing streaks. Another thing that is going to help you when you find out that you're having losing streak is taking a break and relearning your strategy. That is going to help you build confidence. Because to be honest, you're not going to hear this in many places. Losing streak is going to affect your confidence greatly. Okay, it's going to tamper with your confidence greatly. So if you don't have a way of drawing strength, if you don't have another means of drawing strength, then your confidence is going to be damaged in a very heavy way. All right. If you're confident taking risk of $1,000 in a trade, after losing streaks, you won't be afraid of taking a risk of $500.
Yeah, fear will creep in.
Even when you have a bigger sum of money. Okay, so you need to look for ways to draw strength or draw joy from joy and strength. Okay, so that is another thing. Going back to do studies to get more confidence in it. Talking to people. When you're having losing streaks, don't keep it to yourself. Look for someone who you can confide in. Many mentors or many traders don't like sharing this part.
They don't.
Right? So look for someone you can confide in and learn or talk to about your losing streak, which is one of the things we are trying to build in value flow trading. We build accountability
But does it have to be a mentor, or you can talk to your contemporary?
Yes, you can talk to your contemporary in trading, especially people who will understand you. If you're talking to your wife and your wife is not a trader, you keep saying you won't understand. Don't ask me where I know that. Don't ask me where I got that experience from. Okay?
I'm suspecting you.
Leave me alone. Right? Let the singles breathe. I'm not even saying I'm single. I'm not saying let's not divert.
All right.
Let's not divert.
Let's focus.
So talk to people who are going to understand you. who understand where you're coming from, who understand what you're going through. Okay, it could be mentors, it could be contemporaries. All right, that is the third thing that you need to do. And then lastly, when you're going through a losing streak, find out why. Are you over leveraging? Are you over trading? Are you missing something? Just take a break and look at your trades. Print out your trades and we'll go back and study all those trades that you lost. When you're
So
having
in other
losing,
words, you're telling them not to get over losses, like going back to your drawing
no, no,
board
no,
to
yes,
find
go,
out
go.
why.
You will get over
Because
the
some people
losses,
are
but
like, don't mind your losses, just move on and make sure you start winning. Instead of you going back to know why you lost this particular trade, they'll just tell you to move on, shun the trade, and just keep doing what you're doing without going back to see, oh, why did I lose this trade? Why did I
no,
do that? Why did
the
I
two
do
are
this?
important. The two perspectives are very important.
So do you suggest that people move on from their losses?
Yes, I suggest that people move on from their losses. And I also suggest that people go back. But before moving on, go back and find out what you did wrong. It's not you, it's me. Go and do it's not you, it's me with your chat first. All right?
It sounds
Because
like a
truly,
breakup line.
we don't want to go there. But truly, it's not you. It's not the chat, it's you. Okay? You need to go back to the chat and find out where you got it all wrong. Right? Find out if it's that you are not using your strategy well, because winning streaks can cause overconfidence.
Yes.
We're going to talk about that maybe in another video.
Yes,
Right? So
definitely.
there's a level of confidence that winning streaks are going to give to you and to make you to become arrogant when approaching the chart. Normally, you're supposed to be humble.
Humble, yeah, so that
You're
you won't be humbled.
you're approaching a $6.6 trillion industry, right? And you are feeling like you have a say in it, and what you say is what is going to be done.
Your word is law.
Yeah.
Doesn't
So
happen in
you need to be
trading.
careful. A $6.6 trillion market, and you're coming with maybe $1 million. Who are you? So who are we? Yes, you are in the same
Yeah, who are
category.
we?
Okay, you need to be humble enough. So some winning streaks will make you overconfident, and then you start taking reckless losses or reckless trades that will result to losses. So you need to go back and find out why you had that losing streak. Is it that your strategy was not working well? Is it that your risk to reward ratio is not good enough? Or is it that you are approaching the market aggressively as opposed to the conservative nature you've been using before? So you need to go back and find that out. When you found that out, just like when you're treating a patient, you find out why the patient is in that condition. After finding that out, then you profile solution. You can profile solution to yourself and say, okay, going forward, I'm changing my trading plan to this, or I'm following my trading plan, because losing streak can be as a result of not following your trading plan. So find out the solution to that you're losing streak. When you have seen the problem, definitely you know the solution. If you don't know the solution, you can contact your mentors and your instructors. That is what they are there for. After all, many mentors offer lifetime mentorship
Yeah, they do.
or maybe 1 year mentorship. So go back to them and talk to them. After you've now done that, now it's time to move on. Those losses are now behind. It's time to now move on.
All things are passed away.
Cheers to new beginning. No,
Glory.
that's not what they said in that place.
No.
Sorry. Okay, so after you've moved on, then forget about the losing streak, and then they are not related. Your loss yesterday is not related to your profits today. They are totally independent events. They do not
Hallelujah.
correlate with one
Sorry.
another. Okay, so leave your loss behind and then move forward, pursue new things and big things.
All right, guys. You've heard from CJ Banks. That was a lot of value. Thank you so much for coming, CJ. We had an amazing time with you. Until next time, do stay tuned because we have more videos coming up, more valuable content that will be valuable to you and you will find really interesting. Until next time, cheers and God bless. Eh, Jesus. I didn't mean that.
Cheers and God bless. That's what she meant. Bye, guys.